Buenos días, clase. Voy a hablar sobre 5.054. I'm going to talk about 05.04 today. This is a review and covering 05.04. Escribamos un artículo. Okay, so this lesson is going to guide you into the rough draft for your first writing assignment in Module 5. So this is about una experiencia pasada. So that's a past experience. Okay, imagine you went on a trip to a Spanish-speaking country. I'm just reading this. Okay, watch my pointer. Okay, and have been asked to write about it for the school newspaper. In this lesson, you will plan a rough draft for un artículo about a past trip. Okay, if you go over that, it will tell you what it is in English. If you scroll over it, pass over it. You'll write a final draft later. Don't worry if you have never gone on a trip to a Spanish-speaking country. You can use your imagination. Check out the sample article. Okay, so this is a student example of what your submission should look like. So it's not very long. I think it's 5 sentences, so it's just 5 sentences. If you write a bunch more, you can, but you don't have to. If you make it, you can make it as simple as you want. So it says mi viaje a Trujillo, Honduras. Okay, that's my trip to Trujillo, Honduras. Okay, hace una semana que fui de vacaciones a Trujillo, Honduras, por avión. Planifiqué mi viaje con mi madre porque ella iba conmigo. Mi madre prefirió comprar los boletos sin escala. En el aeropuerto, yo caminaba mientras cargaba el equipaje de mano. Para ir a Trujillo, el vuelo duró 6 horas. Okay. So we're going to talk about what needs to, your requirements to create a submission very similar to that. Okay, so step 1, you're going to choose the trip. Your mission is to write a rough draft of un artículo about a past trip. Don't worry, you have all the skills you need to complete the rough draft. Have you gone on a trip by car, plane, or cruise? Okay, you will write a rough draft based on one of the following modes of transportation: por auto, por avión, or por barco. Okay, so by car, por auto, por avión is by plane, or por barco, like a cruise or a boat. Okay, so go to the next page. Step 2 is going to give you your requirements. Okay, it says use what you have learned. Use what you have learned so far in this module to write a rough draft on un artículo. This is what to include in your rough draft. All right here, follow my pointer where it's going. And these are all the hints. And I'm going to show you the guide that I created to help you with this. You can also, there's a version of it here, but mine has a little bit more examples on it. And I'll walk you through that guide too. Okay, so, and it will be posted in your materials, and it'll be labeled 05.04 guide to help you write un artículo. Okay, so go to the next page. And you have step 3, know the requirements. So these are all the requirements. It's very important that you cover the requirements in your submission. It does not have to be exactly like the student example. You can be creative with it, but you do need to make sure that you are hitting the requirements in order to get all the points for this assignment. Okay, so go to the next page. So read through those requirements. They're going to be in the guide too that I give you. To figure out how it will be graded, you can open the rubric. And you've got the rubric right here. In order to get all the to get proficient, get the max amount of points, you need to make sure that you are following all of these requirements. Okay, through here. And this assignment is worth total 30 points, which is this is one of your bigger assignments. Okay, so make sure that at the end of this module, you will use your rough draft to complete your written and oral exams. So make sure you save your rough draft. So make sure that you keep this rough draft as your guide, as your beginning of your assignment for 05.08 and 05.09. Both of those, you're going to be using this as the basis for both of those assignments as well. So if you do a good job with this, it does like half the work for you later on. Okay, so then you go to the next page. Oh, no, now we're moving into the next assignment. Okay, so yes, that's the end. So now I'm going to pause it while I navigate to the guide that I created to help you write. Okay, so the guide is going to be posted in your material section, and this is what it will look like. I will always usually put the list of requirements up at the top. It's very similar to the feedback that I give you when you submit your assignment. So it's a checklist to help you understand what requirements you've met and what requirements you are missing. Okay, so you have all the requirements here include ASE plus time frame plus K plus verb to say how long you traveled. Include a car, gar, or zod verb in the preterite or imperfect tense to describe how you planned or prepared for this trip. This was in one of the lesson. This is in lesson 05.02 and 05.03. Okay, include conmigo to show who you traveled with. Include a stem changing verb in the preterite tense to describe the mode of transportation for this trip. And I'll show you an example of that in a minute. Include a regular imperfect tense verb to describe what you did the day of the trip. Include para to show how long it took to get to your destination. And include vocabulary, words, and expressions learned in this course. So this one's really important. If you're using vocabulary and grammar that's really advanced, and it's just doesn't really follow any of the vocabulary we covered at all from this lesson, then I cannot give you points for that, because if it's just looking like you possibly use a translator to get, your submission, then it's going to be hard to get those points for that particular requirement. Okay, so underneath the list of requirements, you have a guide. So I want you to use this guide. You can also watch this video, and the video will be posted. A link of this video will be posted right here, also in the document. Okay, so the beginning of your submission should talk about where you went and how long you traveled. Again, you can express this any way you want, but this is an example of how to do it. So you can use ASE plus specific time frame plus K plus verb to say how long ago you traveled. Okay, so you make sure you say where you traveled to. Okay, hace una semana, that means a week ago. It was a week ago that I went, fui de vacaciones. Fui de vacaciones is I went on vacation, a Trujillo, Honduras. Okay, so that is just describing when you went. So how long ago you went. I went, fui de vacaciones is I went on vacation to, and you're adding your location in there. And then you put by what manner you traveled. And so we looked at that a second ago in the lesson. It's either by por avión, por barco, or por auto. Okay, so you have those three options as examples. If you went a different way, that's fine. You can add that in if you want to have a different mode of transportation. If you went por train, if you went by a train, you can say por train. Okay, Tren. Okay, your first description is going to be getting ready for the trip. So you can use cargar or zod verb in the preterite or imperfect tense to describe how you planned or prepared the trip. This is in review 05.02, 05.03 to review the cargar and zod verbs and how to use them. and the preterite and imperfect. So this is an example. It says, planifiqué mi viaje con mi madre. So that's an example of how to use this is a car verb. Planificar is a car verb, and it changed to planifique. The ending changes to planifique instead of planifi. You can't say planifice in Spanish. That's why you have to do the changing. So changing of the ending to make it stay with Spanish phonetics. Pronunciation, I mean. Okay. So your second description is traveling partners. Okay, who you went with, who went with you on this trip, and this is when you can use conmigo here. So we have the beginning of our sentence as an example of beginning of your sentence is planifiqué mi viaje. This is from this requirement up here. Planifiqué mi viaje con mi madre porque ella iba conmigo. So that means she went with me. Ella iba is went in imperfect tense, conmigo. Okay, so that's an example of how you can describe who went with you. Let me make sure I have enough time here. Okay, not a lot of time. All right. Your fourth description is what you did. Oh, no. Your third description is your mode of transportation for this trip. Feel free to use a stem-changing verb in the preterite tense to describe the mode of transportation used for the trip. They've decided in this example to say, mi madre prefiero comprar los boletos sin escala. Okay, so they decided to use preferir is your example of a stem-changing verb. And you can review this again in 05.02 and 05.03 if you need extra help. Okay, so your fourth description is that's where you can find the review on stem-changing verbs in the preterite tense. Okay, your fourth description is day of the trip. Maybe you could use a regular imperfect tense verb to describe what you did the day of the trip. Remember to use vocabulary to give a better description. So it says, for example, you can talk about what you did in the aeropuerto, the airport. En el aeropuerto, yo caminaba mientras cargaba el equipaje de mano. Okay, so in the airport, I walked while, hauling around my hand luggage. What do we say in English? I'm like losing the word. The luggage that you take on the airplane with you. I can't remember it now. What the word is in English. Okay, so the ending is the length of time it took for you to get to your destination. Okay, so your hint is try using para to show how long it took you to get to your destination. So example is para ir, in order to go. Okay, that's how you use para here, is in order to go, ir is to go, a Trujillo. So in order to go to Trujillo, para ir a Trujillo, el vuelo duró 6 horas. The flight lasted 6 hours. The flight took 6 hours. Okay, so that's a description of how to describe how long it took you to your destination. The biggest thing here is to make sure that you remember to use your imperfect and preterite tenses. Try to use them as correctly as possible. Remember to use this rough draft as your draft, helping you to build your drafts for 05.08 and 05.08 and 05.09. Okay, and this is a full example of the whole example of a submission, 5 sentences. Okay, so I'll put this guide up here. If you have any questions about it, please let me know. And please review the lessons if you need to. All right, please ask me questions if you have them. Have a good day. Bye.